ASOOKE headbands are not made for only adults, mommies, aunties, and all the other adults that like to wear ASOOKE headbands. You can absolutely involve your young girls, your young sisters, young nieces, young daughters in the party as well. A twin mom recently reached out to me to create two headbands for our baby girls, and I went straight to work. I made two different designs of ASOOKE headbands for her baby girls, and their mom was so excited when she saw the designs that I came up with. If you'd be interested in knowing the process of making these two designs of ASOOKE headbands, please make sure you watch this video to the end, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Alright guys, let's get straight into today's tutorial. Let's go. Alright guys, so you need your ASOOKE fabric. I'm using this iridescent silk ASOOKE. This particular type of ASOOKE is so lush. You also need your medium size of headband. You need a matching color of thread. And yeah, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this ASOOKE into two using my soldering iron. The width of this particular type of ASOOKE is usually wider than normal. This particular one was about 12 inches wide, so I had to divide it into two. So we are going to start with the very first design that I made. I've already wrapped my headband. I promised you guys that I was going to upload a tutorial on this updated method of wrapping headbands. I've not forgotten. I'm going to work on that tutorial as soon as possible. So this is one piece of ASOOKE fabric that, I mentioned earlier that I divided. So I have one piece here. This piece is about 6 inches wide. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to gather the center of this fabric. One thing I noticed with this type of ASOOKE is because it's made of silk, it's very, very delicate. So I wanted to first of all use my weaving machine to weave the edges of the ASOOKE, right? And then I realized that as I was weaving it, it was just loosening up because the fabric is very, very soft. So I do not recommend, using weaving machine on it, or even when sewing, make sure that your stitch is not on the tightest level. Make sure the stitch is very, very loose so it doesn't damage this particular ASOOKE. That's one thing I noticed about it. This shimmery, glittery type of ASOOKE is very, very delicate, so bear that in mind when working with it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gathering. Even with gathering, I had to be very careful with the way I was passing my needle and thread, because as I was gathering, it was almost as though the ASOOKE was, separating. Like, it's ridiculously delicate, so bear that in mind. I feel like this type of ASOOKE is just perfect. Just tie it as gele and keep it pushing, okay? But if you choose to make it into a particular, maybe AUTOGELE or headband, be very, very careful. So I was able to just gather the center all the way through. So after I was able to gather the center, right, I went ahead to secure my stitch, okay? But in the video here, I'm still gathering, okay? Because I found that people always complain that I'm always, speeding up my tutorial too much, so I decided to just slow things down. So yeah, I've gotten to the end of my gathers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just make sure that the thing gathered properly. As you can see, this was where I was noticing that the gathers I was doing was kind of loosening up the ASOOKE. I was having serious panic attack while working on this work, but we prevailed, okay? Yeah, I was able to secure the stitch and tie up my work. So now it's just time for me to just twist. After, stitching up the middle, you just want to twist lightly, just twist up that gathers that you did, just to give it a different feel and a very nice, beautiful, ruffled look to the entire thing. So after you've twisted it like this, the next thing you want to do is to attach this your ruffled up design onto your wrapped plastic headband. You can decide whether you want to sew it on or you want to glue on your design, that, or even tack it on, just little stitches here and there. It all depends on you, but you know me now. I decided to just go straight with my needle and thread, and I decided to just tack the design. After a while, I noticed that, in fact, this ASOOKE really showed me something when working with it, but I sure did, and then I was able to just tack on this ruffle. This particular design would have been way easier if I was working with a typical, relatively hard type of ASOOKE. That way I don't have to be extremely careful when working with it, but because of the delicate nature of this particular ASOOKE, I had to just take my time, very slow and everything. But after, all my carefulness and everything, I was able to attach the ruffled up design onto the plastic headband. After just tacking and tacking, I was able to finish up, and this is the final result of what I did. Eventually, I also went in with some flat bottom beads just to cover up that my stitch work. Okay, the stitch that I did, I didn't want my stitches to be showing at all, so I went in with this flat bead and then I covered up. Another way I cover up my stitches now is using sequins to cover up my stitches. I'm going to create a tutorial on that as well, so yeah, look out for that. So this is the second design of headband that I made for the twin girls. Okay, the first one was for the first girl and this is for the second girl. So I have my fabric. This fabric is about I think it's about 8 inches wide. Okay, I told you that this particular ashoke was very, very wide, wider than the typical, ashoke measurement. So I just divided the fabric in such a way that I'll get enough for the two designs I was making. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold this ashoke into two and then go ahead to sew. Another way to do it is, if you have your typical ashoke, join two pieces together, fold into two, and sew along the length. So after sewing along the length, I went straight to work. And what we are going to be doing is we are just going to create a ruffle design. Okay, with the ruffle, there's no hard and fast rule really. You just keep folding your fabric over and ruffling it up until you get a perfect ruffle. This tutorial is very similar to the first one I did. I think I shared on the channel, okay, where I made a ruffled up red bedazzled headband. If you've not seen that tutorial, I'm going to link it on the screen for you, so feel free to go check it out. That particular design was made for an adult, okay, so it was more dramatic than this, but because this is for a child, I wanted to keep things simple. With children, anything that has to do with putting something on their hair or something, they don't like when it's too stressful for them. So I decided to keep things really, really simple with this particular design. What I'm doing here is I'm just creating the rose or ruffle shape, whatever you choose to call it. But yeah, there's no hard and fast rule as well. I decided to just show you guys as I was teaching, because yeah, just for you to know, just to give you ideas basically when you are creating your own. So I'm just going to keep quiet now, allow you pay attention to what I'm doing, and then I'll continue once I'm done with this portion of the video. Alright guys, so I'm done with creating my ruffled up rose design. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using my needle and thread just to tack places that are still feeling loose. Okay, very similar to that last tutorial. I believe I linked it earlier on, so go check it out if you're an adult and you're looking to create something for yourself. So now that I'm done, it's time for me to attach my design onto my wrapped up plastic headband. So all that entails really is just tacking and a bit of glue. For me, I don't like to work with just glue. I like to combine gluing and sewing together to give me maximum security with the pieces that I create. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my hot glue, apply a little bit on the headband, okay, and then place the design at the desired spots that I want it to be on the headband. So yeah, this is just what I'm doing for this bit as well. You can use any of those, your typical glues, your UHU glue, your B6000, E8000, E7000, whatever glue you have, okay, feel free to use it, but please don't use super glue. Super glue is not meant for fabrics, okay. I've seen a couple of comments where people ask, can I use super glue? Please, no, don't use super glue. Also, I realized I didn't mention the length of this particular ruffled up rose design. The length was about 50 inches, okay. Feel free to make yours shorter or longer, okay. The longer the fabric, the more ruffled up your rows will be, okay, the bigger your rows, okay. So keep that in mind. For me, I kept it at about 50 inches long. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I decided to do the tacking off camera because I've done a lot of tacking in my videos. So yeah, I feel like you guys don't need that tutorial anymore. So this is the end result. This is the finished look of the second design, okay. If you enjoyed watching, please do well to hit the like button. Please, please, please hit the like button. That like button helps my channel a lot, and it also lets me know that you guys are enjoying my content, because sometimes I find myself wondering, am I rendering value? Are people really enjoying my content? So if you don't hit that like button, I will not know. I will keep second guessing myself. So please, if you don't want me to second guess my work, if you love what I do, if you found value in any way, shape, or form from being subscribed to my channel, please do well to hit the like button for me. Thank you so much. Also, if you've made it up to this point and are yet to be subscribed to the channel, you've enjoyed this particular video, and I'm sure you've watched like 2 or 3 videos apart from this one, please subscribe, okay. Subscribe so you don't miss out on any other tutorials. In this second half of the year, I'm going to be coming with a lot of fantastic tutorials, so help me God, and it would just be nice for you to be a part of it, okay. Create wealth for yourself, start your own headband business, or even create pieces for yourself. If you're not interested in starting a business, if you just want to be able to whip up designs for yourself, feel free to join this family, okay. Share with your friends. If you have friends that love stuff like this, please share my channel with them, okay. Thank you very much. I'm grateful and thankful for all the support I've received so far from every single one of you. And yeah, guys, I can't wait to see you in another tutorial. Bye.